So I had my fourth ayahuasca experience last night, and this was a doozy. This was a game changer. So I thought I'd try to record some thoughts about it, although I'm sure it'll be something that I might speak to a bit later in the future and other videos perhaps, because it might be my last ayahuasca experience. It was the single scariest experience of my life, first of all. I was just like, I hope I get out of this in one piece. I almost died. Like, I actually almost walked off the edge of this hut into a ravine. So there's that. But, and in fact, the only good shit that came out of it was today. Because it was last night, I barely slept. I thank God that I woke up in one piece again. I ate breakfast, I took a shower, went on a hike, have been reading this book called Conversations with God, which has been blowing my mind. It's a really fucking great book. And it definitely has informed, I think, the last ayahuasca experience a little bit. But between reading that a lot today to get my mind off of the hell of last night, and I'll explain maybe a little bit of what that was here in a minute, it really, like, something deeply, deep down finally clicked. You know, in an experiential, somatic way, not just some cognitive bullshit, but like, yep, all right. All guns are going. Fuck. All right. All right. Whoa. And so I'll recount that and translate that to English here. It took me a long time for me to vomit on this ayahuasca thing. If you're not familiar with ayahuasca, you usually will purge because it tastes really nasty, and the whole point of it is to kind of like purge and like upchuck a whole lot of junk, I guess. Get it out of your system, I guess. Sometimes it takes 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. This time it took over an hour. In fact, I thought maybe I've acclimated to it. Sometimes people have taken so much ayahuasca that they don't vomit anymore and they just drink it and then they go. Usually you do vomit. I think somebody here has taken it hundreds of times and they still vomit. So it's not even that painful. It shouldn't be, actually. But mine finally came up after an hour of just waiting. And I didn't feel very anxious going into it. I actually felt very proud of myself and secure and quite ready for it. I'd been doing meditation, I'd been doing some breath work, kind of some Wim Hof, and I felt like I was in a good state of mind, and so I wasn't too worried. And then it comes on quick as soon as you purge. As soon as you start vomiting, it's like, whoa, and you gotta lay down and just ride the wave. At first it's visuals, but then it turns into something, and it can turn into any number of things, apparently. And I learned that last night, because the visuals quickly subsided, and I, honest to God, felt, and this might be worrisome to some, but I'm good now, so it's fortunately nothing to worry about too much. But yeah, I do think you should be, careful when it comes to these kinds of medicines. But I felt genuinely schizophrenic for the next 3 hours. I lied there in perfect silence, and I started to get the sensation that friends of mine out in the Bay Area and at home and abroad and the people that had left here, no matter the distance, could hear my thoughts. And I could hear theirs. And I was listening to their conversations, and they were getting mad at me for thinking too loudly. It was really strange. And then there was a weird cyclicalness to it, like a Groundhog Day, where I was just like, oh no, what have I locked myself into? Something's wrong. And so I got up, I kind of walked around. I tried to like assuage these voices, like, hey guys, I'm not trying to, rain on your parade, because they're getting frustrated with me. Like, Ben, yes, we can hear your thoughts. Please be quiet. I'm like, I'm not saying anything. And so you're gonna be like, how does Ben integrate this? I was wondering too. I'm like, this just sounds like hell. Because there's like at least 20 voices telling me to shut the fuck up and getting really angry with me. And I'm just like, fuck. And so the reason I ended up almost walking into a ravine is I walked to the other side of the center just to get away from it. And that wasn't enough. And so I walked back, and someone else had the cat. Usually the cat can comfort you. But anyway, here's how that makes sense as a after the fact positive experience. It is meant to sometimes, I mean, it depends on what it does. I mean, I had a positive experience last week, but sometimes when it thinks you're ready for it, supposedly, it will expose you to your worst fear. Almost like a cognitive behavioral therapy. Like, it will expose you to something deep down that is a blockage that you may be only unconsciously aware of. And for me, probably the simplest version of that is can be something of a people pleaser. I'm like always on guard. I wouldn't even necessarily say that I want everyone to like me, because I can keep sharing my own ideas in a way sometimes that can rock people the wrong way, and I stick to my guns. I really am interested in helping the world, and I am very empathetic, and I like to work on projects that edify others. And I don't usually bend over because I want to please somebody, but it is still a big part of something deep down. Probably going back to Christianity, of trying to please God and please your father and mother or whatever the hell. And this was exposing me to the worst version of that, where all of my friends and family were there and nothing I could do could appease them. And so it's like, hey, like you're pushed into that fear so much that the next day as you're integrating it, you're like, okay, that for one, that wasn't real. I almost was going to message friends and be like, did you hear me last night? But I was like, okay, it wasn't real. And stop giving a flying fuck about other people's fucking opinions about you. People really shouldn't be doing that so much. Not to such a negligent point that now you're an asshole, but like, don't let that inform what you do in your life. Okay? And especially if you're familiar at all with this book, Conversations with God, that's a fascinating fucking book. It's not what it sounds like on the outset. It's not a Christian book per se, by any stretch, really. In fact, some people might consider it blasphemy if they read it per se, but you know, we can get into that another time. I'll have another video maybe about Conversations with God, because I'm still reading it. I'm almost halfway through it, and it's already a game changer for me. And so I'm going to try to finish this because it's already 6.5 minutes, and I never want to record anything much longer than that. But finally, something finally clicked, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to, like, it's hard to explain if I don't already explain the Conversations with God thing, because the Conversations with God thing, if you've watched this far, I hate to break it to you, but in the book, at least, for whatever it's worth, it's said that God's not concerned with you bending over backwards to serve him or do any ought-tos or shoulds, and this place isn't an explicit school that you have to be learning lessons and growing yourself and fucking this and that and all the other things. It's it's for self-realization in a way that is edifying to others, not in a hedonistic, self-serving sort of way, but it is to remember what you are and live into that. And in the most relaxed way, the way I've been articulating it in my own mind is, dog, this is a fucking playground, man. Go play, run amok, okay? Grab a fucking sandcastle and go to town, dog. Like, run amok, buddy. Whoa, okay? I've got pretty good intentions. For anybody that fucking knows me, I've got pretty damn good motives. Go. All right? Anything you build in the world, anything that you do, there's bound to be people that won't get it and people that will get it. Surround yourself with the people that do get it. Don't worry about anything else beyond that. You don't have to indulge in it. You can be an artist with your experience in this world. You can. That's an available option to you, should you decide to exercise it. So I'm glad that I'm finally explaining that a little bit in a way that feels resonant for myself. Hopefully it's resonant for you. Apologies if any of this comes across in a bad way. I can't do much about that. And in fact, I'm going to be less of a people pleaser. I'm not going to give a flying flip about whether people get this or not. Okay, that's we could talk about it another time if you would like, but this will be a process. You know, click overnight, but something, kinked deep down that I'm really happy about, and I feel freer as a result. So maybe that free mind thing is finally coming into play. So I'll leave it here. We're about 9 minutes, so we'll see if I even do another ayahuasca thing. The next one will be Friday, so I got another day or two to figure it out. And we got a talking circle here in a little bit to finally process that and talk about it with the other people. It was a really small ceremony. It was just me and this big Russian dude from Toronto who had a kind of scary experience of his own, but it turned good for him. And Fabrizio, who, he's done hundreds of these, so he had a generally good experience. And interestingly enough, he said that for at least an hour of his experience, he got a sense of what I was going through and what I was grappling with. And so a lot of what I shared, he's like, you know what, I felt that that's maybe something you were going to work through tonight. So kind of cool synchronicities going on. All right, definitely not letting this go up to 10. So thanks a lot for watching if you watched this far, and I'll release further updates as time goes on. So thanks a lot. Check out Conversations with God if you'd like, and I'll probably record an additional video once I finish that book. Love you.